All right, spawning on the bottom right-hand corner from the Platinum Heroes clan, it's Wolfsha. And in the bottom left-hand corner, because this map is not opposite corners, also from the Platinum Heroes clan, we've got the Zerg player, Cheoklate. If I'm saying that wrong, please tell me now. I'm going with Cheoklate until someone says. You ever talk to someone all the time in game? You talk to them all the time in game, and then when you actually don't know how to say their name because you never actually say it out loud? Like I could spell it with my eyes closed. Probably should have asked that before getting into the game, but there we are where we are. Protoss player is going to go ahead and go with the gateway. No cheeky forge opener today. Meanwhile, across the map, a hatch first opener will be the choice of our Zerg player. So that's the way around not knowing how to say the names. So both players showing great honor so far. Drones on the production tab. Upcoming with the 18 gas, followed by the 17 pool. Very, very standard, as Wolfsha will verify for himself momentarily with this probe. Probe comes in, sees an appropriately timed hatchery. He sees everything where it should be. Nothing early, no extra gas. Very happy with what he's scouting so far. Second Nexus is going to be fired up before core, as one would like to do in an economic game. So a macro opener so far out of both teams. There is still time for either player to transition into something a little bit more, a little bit cheekier, but not just yet. No first 3 minutes of the game pressure to be spoken of. Third hatch, he is going with the third hatch by the golden base. When you mine out this base, probe looking around, but when you mine out this base, it opens up a lot of safe expansions that can be taken. You can see you can mine through here as well, and you can also work towards your opponent, and there is a way into your opponent's base through easy quick mining after you've mined out this gold base. So it really opens up the map a lot. Very interesting design here. And if both players mine out their gold, they are both vulnerable in the same ways. So the early third base from the Zerg. Let's see if Wolfsha decides to go with the same third base. His probe is headed to check the other third location. I think once he sees no hatch here, seeing no hatch here, he's probably going to want to make sure he checks the other one. And his Adept is going to spot out this expansion, right? Yeah. Adept's going to spot this out, so he will know about the gold third from his opponent. Very important to know, even if it's a bit expected. Stargate finishing up here momentarily. Has not yet been scouted by the Zerg player. Stargate can still catch a Masters player off guard if they are complacent and don't scout for it. Keeping the Zerg keeping his Overlord at the pervert pylon, not opting to float in. Getting a decent little scout here. Oh, he decides to finish the shade, so he is going to go into the back and throw down this Adept's life to complete his scout. He's going to get a drone or two for his efforts. Only one drone there for his efforts. One drone for one Adept, not a great scout. Not sure if he just neglected to cancel that, or if maybe he really wanted to make sure he scouted out the main. He might have some information on his opponent that leads him to believe a Roach all-in could be in the books. Quickly getting this saturated with all of this beautiful, beautiful gold minerals. Smart decision. All right. Oracle coming in towards the main. There's a queen here, but nothing else to deal with it. Let's see how much damage he's going to get done. All right, doing a great job of shift queuing these up, and while the queen will eventually be able to chase this Oracle away, the Oracle is able to get 5 drones. It does take a little more damage than I think you want to take the first time in, but 5 drones, not bad. Not bad at all. That's the price you're going to pay for neglecting to float that first Overlord in. He's making necessary preparations at the third, necessary preparations at the natural, but the main's still looking vulnerable. There we go. Spore coming up at the main as well. That will be the end of easy damage he's able to get with the Oracle. And the Oracle on such low health, yeah, it's going to float in. It's going to take a little bit of damage. It's going to understand it's in a bit of a situation here. Trying to throw down a stasis ward, and that will get spotted out by the Zerg player. Expertly done, only getting 1 drone caught in that trap. A Roach Warren has been started up for the Zerg, as well as a Baneling Nest. On this side of the map, we have gone into a Twilight Council, no Dark Shrine. He's expanded his gateway account, just ever so slightly to account for the expanding economy as he takes his third. Some Zerglings try and force their way in through the front door, but they will not be allowed in by this Adept. Zerg is still really not scouted very much. Finally, with Overlord speed, he is able to get his first good scout. I'm not sure if he was able to click on this to verify that it was a Templar Archives, but he is going to see that there is a tech direction. There really is not that much information, honestly. I think it's really important that he was able to click on this and identify that it was a Templar Archive. And time will tell. Let's see what the reaction is on the other side of the map. Roach speed is on the way, as well as ranged +1. So deciding to buff his roaches instead of buffing his banelings. Baneling speed is also on the way. Ooh, we're going to get some Archons morphing in here. Archon drop is going to be the play. And Archon drop may be very difficult to deal with this exposed mineral line here. Let's see what happens. Throwing down the stasis trap. It's going to get a lot more this time, but all of those drones that have been stasis are not vulnerable to the Archons. So a little bit of give and take there. He'll get some temporary damage, but unable to kill the drones like he may have been able to. 2 Archons in the main are going to do pretty well with such a small count of roaches, but their time spent there will be limited by the Queen as the Queen fires upon the Warp Prism. Moving back in towards the net, and the AoE, the splash damage from the Archons beginning to bear fruit. 7 drones falling for the Zerg player. Great damage so far. This looks like a real pain to deal with, honestly, until you've there's no way for the Zerg to really shut this area down until you've mined through some of these. And then once you've mined through, it's a very high risk position. It's I'm learning a lot watching this. This Overseer is going to drop without using its energy. A bit unfortunate, but higher priorities to be dealt with as the Archons are coming back in. They're continuing to harass this gold base, but now that roach count is pretty significant, and now those roaches are going to chase off these Archons without too much trouble. Immortal on the way for Wolfsha. He recognizes that Immortals are going to be his best tool to deal with the roaches that his opponent has been forced to make. Army supplies looking about even. Worker counts looking about even. A 4th base and a 5th base. Oh, just a 4th base, sorry. A 4th base has been started and populated here, which is nice, but the more spread out you are, the more vulnerable you are to these Archons. Archon's going to get another few drones for their trouble. Oh, wow. I didn't know drones could outrun Archons. Interesting. Going to drop him back in, try and use the splash damage, but the splash damage is not going to get splashed onto the very vulnerable drones, only onto some very, very tanky roaches. While the creep spread's looking good, I would like to see a little bit of creep spreading this way, a little bit of creep headed towards the south side to really shut this down. He did opt to mine this out, so he has opened the door from his own main, probably to shut this harassment down is the thought process there, but I'd like to see some creep headed south. A Zergling is going to spot his opponent's attempt to take this gold base, and if you look at your mini-map, the Zerg army is moving in to deny this. He says, you should have jumped on the gold before I could do something about it. One Zealot gallantly tries to fight against many, many Zerglings, and this is a lot of Zerg here. What is decides not to take the fight, gets the revelation on the army, and the Zerg player is not trying to push his luck just yet. The key part of this army is going to be the Archons. The Archons are the best tool to deal with the Zerglings. The Zerglings' job is going to be to shut down these Immortals. Zerglings do very well against Immortals. However, Archons do very well against Zerglings. It's a bit of a rock, paper, scissors. I don't know if that's correct, but you've got the Roaches that do well against the Charge Lots and the Archons, and then you've got the Immortals that do well against the Roaches. Everything has a counter here, and it's really going to matter what army units fight what. And the Ravager Biles are going to be key in deciding the outcome of this fight. There are a couple of sentries here that'll be looking for good force fields. Let's see if they're able to find them. All right, these Zerglings getting ahead of the army are going to get slaughtered by the Archons, which is the start to this fight that our Protoss player wanted. Storm's falling down as well. Storm's mostly jumping on the Archons, but They are zoning out the Zerg from being able to move in too aggressively. Batteries working overtime, trying to keep these Immortals alive. More storms are falling. Biles as well. The force field storm micro is doing work, but will it be enough? These Immortals are starting to look bruised. There's still a lot of Ravagers here. Morphin and Archon, but we've got numerous Ravagers are able to survive that fight. Nice Biles on top of the freshly morphed Zealots, and Zealots are going to do well against the Ravagers. Unfortunately, the charge is going to allow them to close the gap. They're hard to kite against, and they do trade out well. So both armies kind of thrown away to the winds there. A huge bank for Wolfsha on the Protoss side. A bit of an army supply lead for our Zerg player. Does attempt to do a run by with some Zealots on the north side, but that will be shut down easily by all these Roaches. That's a lot of Roaches to deal with the run by. Gathering his forces towards the north side, our Zerg player knows that damage needs to get done. He has built an army that has power spiked, and the power spike is behind it. Every passing minute, this army that Zerg has invested in is not... Look at how many Roaches there are. That's a ton of gas into Roaches. We don't have any Banes here. We do not have the tools we need to deal with what Protoss is going into tech-wise. So as the value of the army decreases, will it buy enough time? The Greater Spire is going to be the play from the Zerg player. He's going to try and get in some Broodlords, and Broodlords are a good choice. Not a lot that shoots up over here. Storms and Archon's not going to do terribly well against Broodlords, so Broodlords is a good choice. He's got 7 Corruptors on the way. He's moving out with his Tier 2 army, Tier 1, Tier 2 army, seeing if he can get some value out of it in the meantime as he completes his tech transition. Broodlords are going to be a very, very scary tech to deal with, but right now on his front door, we've got Banes morphing. We've got a lot of Roaches, and we've got a lot of Lings jumping on top of the 4th base. The damage is going to begin. Oh, usually you would zone with the Biles, but the Biles getting pretty decent damage there so far, and here come the Banelings. Banelings are able to get on top of some of these Templar. Banelings getting more damage than they had any right getting as 3 or 4 Templar fall. 8 probes have also fallen. Whoa, that was weird. I had a bit of an audio bug there. Oh boy, this is a lot of Protoss here to deal with, and he knows it. Meanwhile, in the natural, he was able to sneak in some Zerglings that are going to get a couple more probes for their time, and they're going to keep his opponent off balance, which is very nice. Ooh, morphing in charge lots in the main of the Zerg is going to be nice as well, but ultimately not going to get a lot done. Where are the Corruptors? Here we go. They are no longer Corruptors. They are now Broodlords, and they are moving out across the map. Has this been spotted? Taking the south base, which I like, reinforcing it with a couple spines in case of the inevitable Zealot run-by that will come. Morphing some Banelings. Banelings go nice with any army, and this is a 200, this is a maxed Zerg army on your front door with nothing in position to deal with it. Meanwhile, your army has preciously little that is able to shoot up. As soon as he spots up, GG's called. Not even going to try and fight the Broodlords. Zerg player taking the series, or taking the lead in the series, 1-0. Immediately recognizing he had no answer for the Broodlords. All right. Next map is going to be Simulacrum. Wolfsha not feeling nervous, but it's going to happen. Let's get into map number 2 of these two players as they fight it out. spawning in the top left-hand corner, looking to even up the series 1-1. We've got the Protoss player from Platinum Heroes. It's Wolfsha. And in the bottom right-hand corner, looking for that clean 2-0 victory. The Broodlords got it done last game. Let's see what the tech choice is going to be this game. We've got the blue Zerg player, Cheoklate. I'm going to feel so bad when he messages me later and tells me I don't know how to say his name. It's like a friend. It's a friend whose name I don't know how to say. Let's see if Wolfsha has any tricks up his sleeves. He doesn't seem to be going with anything tricky too far as he opens Gateway first. Looking to square up with this opponent 1v1 and really see how they can hang. Respected. In a tournament like Coach Clash, there's bound to be some mismatches. Wolfsha is feeling as though he is on the lesser end of one of these mismatches, but that does not mean he can't take a game. It's no player is unbeatable. Everything's standard so far. Let's see if once again he opts to go for the Nexus next. Nexus before the core is what I expect to see, and that is what we are going to have. Across the map, his scout is confirming the timings and everything he wanted to see so far. Gas is starting up a little bit late, so really indicating with the gas, when you rally to the gas and get into your gas this late, it's just really a sign that you're not trying to like hiss timing with speed or anything. He wants the money. There we go. Quick third base is going to be the choice. 3 bases before his pool even finishes. Probe trying to be a little annoying, but not going to be too intimidating. Core finishing up. Let's see if the Zerg player opts to go for a better scout this time. It's a long way in. Let's see if he opts to go for a better scout or no. He's once again looking to just hang out on the pervert pylon here. Ooh, supply block going to hurt. No doubt. Nobody likes to see a supply block. Pylon has started, but it's certainly late. I would attribute this to nerves. Nerves gonna happen. Knowing that people are watching your matches, talking about your matches, is nothing to be ashamed of, being a little nervous. Nat has been finished for the Zerg. First queen about to pop out of that Nat. Queen already in the main, already on the inject. Overlord speed is on the way. Overlord speed's gonna come before any kind of Ling speed. So that's a very early Overlord speed. Really wants to make sure. So the plan is, instead of floating this in and suiciding it and maybe not getting the information that you need, he keeps it on the pervert pylon. Then he's going to float in a second Overlord, and the second Overlord's going to come in with speed and really make sure he knows what's coming. Dark Shrine is going to be the choice of Wolfsha, but he throws down the Dark Shrine right in the path of the Overlord. That Dark Shrine will get scouted as soon as it goes down. So Zerg should be in a fantastic position to deal with the DTs. I wouldn't be surprised if Wolfsha cancels it. Roach Warren fired up immediately. Layer started immediately. So yeah, you can't ask for anything more. The scouting strategy of our Zerg player paying off dividends as his second Overlord arrives in perfect timing to see what he needs to see. That Dark Shrine is going to be the option. I think Wolfsha got pretty decent damage done with the Oracle last game, but he's still feeling like he needs to mix up the tech choice. All right, Gateway's finishing up. We've got an Overseer morphing as this Warp Prism is looking for a position to morph in these DTs. Don't expect to see these DTs getting much damage done. Investing heavily into 4 DTs. He's going to go straight into Archons. So going to go straight into the Archon drop, recognizing that his DT play has been foiled. He's only down 7 workers, which is not a terrible place to be. He's trying to fire up this third base, so he's going to be able to keep the third base alive. There's not enough Zerg out to deal with it just yet. And he has, based on this, the pressure of maybe going DTs. Well, not really delayed the 4th base. As I checked, the 4th base is starting up, so. All right, Archon's coming in towards the main. They are going to get 4 drones for their trouble and a queen. So good damage off the Archon drop so far. Going to scoop them up, looking to hopefully get the money shot on all these drones bunched up. Oh, there's so many low health drones. 11 drones have fallen, and they're still grouped up. 13 drones is the count so far, and both Archons will get out with their lives. Fantastic damage from the Archon drop from Wolfsha. Full energy on the second Nexus. Continuing to be annoying with these Archons. Able to clear up a creep tumor, scare off a queen. You love to see it. Four more gateways in the main, a couple of pylons as well. He is not trying to have all of his gateways finish into a supply block. Charge is being chrono boosted. Still a lot of energy on this Nexus. I would like to see maybe some upgrades started up to chrono, or maybe you chrono some workers. I would like to see something done with that energy. 46 workers to 61 is a pretty big difference considering how many workers he was able to kill on his Archon drop. With all the damage he was able to get done in the main, you don't want to be down this many workers. So some of the macro has slipped a bit for Wolfsha. Immortals are going to be nice. Nice to deal with all of these roaches. But with a huge army supply here for Wolfsha. So Wolfsha's moving out with a nice army lead. Spire's been started up as well as Hive. So it does look like our Zerg player wants to get into the Broodlords once more. He's starting up a lot of tech. He's got 9 roaches coming to support this, but this is a lot of Protoss at his front door. Queen not really going to slow things down much. Attempting to morph in these Ravagers in a pretty dangerous location. He needs to jump on these Ravagers while they're morphing. Tunnel visioning a bit on the 4th base here. A little unfortunate. Had a nice opportunity to really take out some Ravagers before they were in a position to do damage. But a 4th base is not for nothing. And here we go, Protoss moving in right on top of a lot of Biles. Enough Biles fall to take down an Archon. Tried to be a little sneaky with a couple DTs, but seeing the Overseer, he decides to morph them into these Archons. Good use of force field so far, but the army supplies have evened up. Even army supplies, greater spires started up for the Zerg, as well as 15 more roaches. This even army supply is about to get tilted a bit. Biles once again getting good damage, taking down one of the sentries. Back and forth these two players fight, but the significant thing that I note is the production tab. One player is continuing to produce as they skirmish, while the other seems content with what he has, and I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Each wave of eggs popping for the Zerg is pushing things more in his favor. In the main base, he is getting some nice damage done on some drones. However, I'm not sure that the drone damage is going to be in time. Moving forward once more with his army. He's finally restarted pro production, but it's been minutes. Really good use of force field. Our Zerg players created a bit of choke point for himself. Biles his own army as he moves to deal with the impending Protoss threat. Now as these two players begin to fight in the open, I expect to see things tilting for our Zerg player. First he decided to jump on a few workers, but recognizing his army was in trouble, he pulls the charge lots back. Charge lots are able to clean up everything the Zerg has. More roaches are popping, but now the roach count's not looking great. GG's called. Wolfsha had enough. He takes the game. Well done. Very all in there. Well done by Wolfsha. So even if he wasn't able to maintain his worker lead that he built on that Archon drop for long, all of the larvae that our Zerg player had to use rebuilding his his workers. He built them back up quickly too, but he used a lot of work, a lot of larvae rebuilding those workers, and he did not have the roach count he needed to deal with the all-in. The investment in the greater spire, all signs point to him not being ready for that all-in. So let's see what our last map is. 1-1 series. Very awesome. Zen has been vetoed, which should leave us with one more map, right? Everdream will be the pick. Let's get into it. We're at 2 out of 3 trying to make this lobby. We're waiting on somebody. Someone might be taking a deep breath out of these after these intense games. There we go. Entering the lobby. Let's get things sorted out. Waiting on Wolfsha to say ready. And then we'll get into it. All right, I see him in chat. He's getting ready. He'll be here to go in just a second. He is ready. Let's get into map 3. One of these players are advancing. One of their days are stopping short. Let's see how it goes. Thank you for the follow, Jolly Bolly. All right, spawning. All right, let's actually fix the scoreboard first. And then spawning in the... Oh, I guess we're doing top right because I moved it. Spawning in the top right-hand corner. Looking to repeat the results of Game 1. We've got the Zerg player, Cheoklate. In the bottom left, looking to complete the self-confessed upset. Trying to mimic the results he was able to yield from his all-in Game 2. We've got the Protoss player, Wolfsha. Let's see what happens here as these players start it up. I expect to see pretty standard openers from both players. While Wolfsha did not go for as much of a macro game as he did in Game 1, it wasn't anything first 5 minutes of the game crazy. It was more it was very all-in. He had no transition planned off of it, and you really can't count on getting as much damage off the Archon drop again, which was what put him in a position to spiral that all-in into a victory, as well as a little bit of a choke point that our Zerg player created for himself. Everything looking standard so far. Let's see if either player plans on mixing it up or if they're both just going to try and execute their game plan to the best of their ability. Second Nexus started as well. Everything, yeah, I can keep repeating it, but there's really just nothing, not anything too interesting going on. He is going to go ahead and, looks like he's thinking, is he going to drone scout? Okay, so now we've got something interesting to watch. Taking a very forward third base. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not. I'm not 100% sure. I would think this would be the third base or this. This is an interesting choice of third base. Is this to make a creep highway and quickly get a nice roach path to get some early pressure? Or is it, I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works out, that third base choice. If there's a strategy behind it, or if maybe he was just going through the motions and didn't take the third he planned on. Adept is being chronoed, and it will be up to the Adept to confirm the location of the third. No Roach Warren yet, nothing too crazy. We've got the Twilight Council coming up. This is once again unscouted. He's going to go with the route of bringing in this second Overlord with Overlord Speed, which has been started to take care of his scouting for him. Probe isn't seeing a third base, and he's a little bit concerned about that, I would think. And oh, look at this. Not seeing the third base with the Adept either. Very well-placed third, but it's going to maybe make Wolfsha a little scared that he's getting two base all-ins. In goes the Shade. The Shade's going to confirm not an abnormal amount of drones. That's about the amount of drones you'd expect to see on the Nat this early. Ling Speed has been started up after Overlord Speed once again. So Zerg player continuing to prioritize Overlord Speed over Zergling Speed, which is going to be good for getting info. And right here, he's going to see the creep. And the creep is going to be a giveaway that there is a third base and that it is this. This is the third base. He hasn't rallied these drones. A little bit of a mistake, but nothing too serious. Lair and Roachhorn on the way. So Lair and Roachhorn are going to be the play. Before 4 minutes, taking all these extra gases, a Roach all-in is coming. Let's see if it's coupled with a Nidus or if it's just on its own. Was able to get a nice scout with his speedy Overlord. He confirms the gateways. He confirms the Dark Shrine once more. He will be in a position to be prepared for the DTs. It'll turn into an Archon drop. Let's see if he's going to take as much damage from the Archon drop as he did last time. Really cranking out that gas. I would expect to see Roach Speed started as soon as this finishes. 6 Roaches already out on the map. Warping in a pretty conservative location. Waiting on his Dark Shrine. Once again, he's created a similar choke point for himself right here at the front. Our Zerg players created a choke point, which could be a bit of a problem. It was a problem last game. Let's see if it's a problem this game. Moving in towards the third. The DTs are going to be able to get some damage done this time. There's no Overseer here to deal with this. An Overseer is morphing back by the Nap, but is it going to be here in time to save the third? I don't think it is. Third base about to fall for our Zerg player. Things are already going very well for Wolfsha in this deciding Game 3. A speedy Overseer is available now to deal with these DTs, but the DTs have gotten more than they ever expected to. They're going to be go ahead and morphing into their Archon form. 7 drones on the production tab, possibly not as all-in as I expected him to be. Retaking the same third base. Wolfsha moving in towards the main. He says, I got damage from the DTs. Can I get damage from the Archon drop as well? Maybe getting a little bit too aggressive, recognizing that that Queen is a major threat and that there's a lot of Zerg on the ground. Gonna go ahead and pull out with his Archon drop. Back at home, Immortals and 4 more gateways are on the way, looking to expand this play. Was that intentional? I don't think he meant to chrono boost his Dark Shrine. Archons will find a Queen, which is pretty nice. You've got your Zerg opponent on 2 bases. You're feeling pretty good if you're Wolfsha right now. You're feeling pretty good about your chances. You're down only 3 workers, which is a perfectly acceptable place to be. Up a base, everything's going well so far. morphing in some sentries to try and save up some energy to hope. I think he's going to be looking for a similar push as last game. It's going to be Archon, Immortal, Charge Lot, Sentry, I think is the play that we expect to see. Macro hatch on the way for check, or for our Zerg player. Archon's walking around. They forgot their observer buddies, so they aren't going to be able to get this second creep tumor here, which would have been nice, but they got the active creep tumor, so not for nothing. And here comes the push. Charge about to finish, +1 about to finish. We've got several Archons, several Immortals, and a lot of charge lots. This is a scary push, but that's a lot of Zerg. Charge Lot's getting a little bit ahead of the crew, jumping on top of some of these Roaches, able to zone a few of the Roaches out with some force fields, and that force field micro is going to be key on this push. Roaches are backing off. Looks like Zerg is going to have to give up this front base once more, and he is in trouble. Army supply heavily, actually Army supply is in favor of our Zerg player, but a lot of that was in Roaches. Ravagers are going to be a nice change, but will the Ravagers have enough of a buffer to keep the charge lots off of them? All right, keep an eye on those corrosive biles. They are going to be key, attempting to buy away the force fields, but everything in front of the force field is already dead. A lot of biles there landing on top of some Zealots, which is going to be nice, but there's nothing here to protect the Ravagers. Zealots are going to get on top of the Ravagers, and the Ravagers are falling so quick. Another nice round of biles, but the biles are able to take out maybe one sentry. It's not enough. Base falls once more. 2-base Zerg is in a lot of trouble. Now down on army supply, down on workers, and running out of time. Able to get some force field energy out without losing anything is going to help, but now we've got Archons getting on top of, getting a little distracted by a sea of Overlords. The Roach count is dwindling. The Archon count at 5. One Immortal finally falls, but 2 Immortals remain. 5 Archons, 2 Immortals is a lot of Protoss to deal with. Wolfsha moving up towards the natural, looking to close out this series once again, taking advantage of the choke point the Zerg player has created for himself. The boys are pulled. Most of the boys unable to even get to the front line. 2-1, Wolfsha will take the series. Well played, well played.